while we're doing it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about NearPod and Remind 101. Everyone on some device should have gone to nearpod.com and put in the pin PESJV. And when you initially open this up, just so you know, it's huge, but I clicked past it. So normally, when you first start this, if you do this as a teacher, it's going to be huge. So we're going to talk about NearPod and Remind 101, and we're going to start out by talking about Remind 101. I guess, do you have the option of putting in your names? Or is it just...
you can assign students numbers or have them put their name in.
Okay, which we don't need to do. So, all good. So our plan today is we're going to demonstrate how and why each of these tools work and why you might want to use them. I ask that you don't try to make an account right now while I'm talking, or you'll miss kind of what we talk about. We'll have time at the end, I promise, to make an account. That's the only thing I'm kind of talking about. So right now, if you've signed in, as I'm instructing through stuff, you guys should be seeing it on your device. And is everybody seeing it on their device as we're going through?
I think you have to sign in.
What?
I think you have to have each student sign in with a nickname.
Oh, they have to in order to see it?
Sign in, nickname.
So, did you guys do that? Do I have to go back to that in order for them to...
I believe so.
So you have to stop right here and have them sign in before you can continue on? And then they'll get pushed the slide. I will tell you, I stayed up till 11 o'clock last night learning and reading through their videos and stuff, but I haven't actually done it in class yet, so I'm learning too right now as we do this. So whoever student 2 and student 3 are, if you could put a name in.
You should have asked earlier.
Are we good now? If I go next, are we all going to be with me?
Actually, that should be your list. It'll come up as a roster, so you'll get a roster of who's checked in your classroom, which is kind of nice because then you'll know which students are checked in, which students aren't.
So basically, when you're using it, you want to stay right here until everybody's signed in.
Yeah, you want to have a system so you know and understand like who's there and who's not there.
Okay, and it won't really make that big of a difference right now because I'm not using it as a quiz or anything, but you can use this as a quiz. So I've already said this is what we're going to go over. Is it pushing everybody down? Yes, okay.
Well, I'm stuck. Wait. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to continue on. So the first thing I want to talk about is Remind 101. This is the home screen of Remind 101. Remind 101 is a way for you to connect with students really, really, really easy. It's probably the easiest setup and easiest system you could ever do. It's completely free. You don't have to add your students. They add themselves. You can use it for students and parents. So this is the initial screen. I went in and already made an account and already set up. So it's a safe way for you guys to be able to text with students, and they're never to be worried about inappropriate use because you never get their phone number. You never see their phone number. You never have access to their phone number. They put it in that they want to join your class. They get text something back that says, hey, what's your name? And then you'll see the name they put in, that who's on your list, but you don't know what their phone number is. So no one could say, hey, you use that to be able to, whatever, and connect with the student inappropriately because you don't get their phone number. And anything that you send out through that, the only way to send it through this is logged, so you know that you did what you did. So it's a safe way for you to connect with both teachers or students and parents. And I get this all the time. I don't know why it's not fitting on the slide, but I tell my students, hey, I emailed everybody about that quiz, and I never check my email type thing. So it's a way to kind of avoid that, get one more way to connect with them. It allows you to send a text message to entire classes, to remind them of something. That's why it's called Remind 101, to tell them a quiz. Like Jonathan had just a thing last week where he had a sub in and the kids didn't watch the video that they were supposed to watch, and his next class was a skull lab practical, and some of them hadn't watched the video because they didn't read their email and they didn't pay attention to it. And using something like this might be one more way to connect with those students really easy. They sign themselves up, and then all you have to do is type in your text message and hit send, and it goes to all of them at one time. And it is instantaneous. I did it last night because I signed myself up for my class because I never signed myself up, and I sent a text message, and I couldn't believe. I literally hit enter on my keyboard, and it was like 1 second later I had a text message on my phone. So it's really quick and it's really easy. So the way you do it, once you sign in an account, all you do is make a class and you name it whatever you want to. I have a class called Hardware and a class called Advanced Tech. All you do is click the little button right here, and we'll have a chance to play with it later where it says add a class, and you just give it whatever name you want to. And when you add a class, it asks for a code. Okay? In my case, it's Hardware. I didn't finish the where because that was taken already. And it'll tell you when it's taken.
I am at step 1, make a class, and I see she's gone on, but I'm still stuck at step 1. No, I didn't touch it.
You can set the class code? I thought it was just arbitrarily.
No, you
assigned.
can make your own class code. It arbitrarily assigns one, you can edit it up to 10 characters.
Okay.
Okay? So it arbitrarily assigned that, and then I just left it not knowing that I could make one. But you can see up here, Deb, we'll just keep going and pretend that you're with us.
So can you change it once some
No.
kids have already signed up on
No.
the other code? See, that's
No.
all.
Okay. So when I add a class, it says, what's your class name? And I name it Hardware or whatever, and then it asks for your class code. When I initially did it, it just put a class code in there. Now maybe it's changed, because I know when I did it for this, because you all got an email about, do you want Tech Tuesday reminders? I got to make up my own. So NT Tuesdays or something is what I need.
I think that they must have just changed it.
Yeah, so all you have to do is give it a name and a code, and then what you'll see is after you've added that, and it'll tell you if it's already got that one added, then it'll come up with this screen that basically you can use this to email this to students, you can copy it and put it on your Moodle site, or you could just put this up on the screen and tell your students, hey, if you want to get, in this case, Tech Tuesday reminders, all you have to do is text this code to this number, and you'll get put on the list automatically. Okay? And you guys saw the email, that email sent out this link, and if you do the link thing, basically it brings you this, and it says, hey, do you want to sign up for NT Tuesdays? Put in your number and hit enter, and if you want to see all the rules, you can download PDFs, files on what they do.
Do they see our number then? No.
You have no number. All you have is this number right here
One-way
is it's one-way communication for you to send stuff to them. They can't send anything back.
All right.
So they have to text at NT Tuesdays in this case to this number, which is Remind101's number. It's not my phone number. Okay, that's a Remind101 number. And then it'll immediately say, you're signing up for Tech Tuesday. What do you want your name to be? And then I'll text back Brian Poole. And then it'll associate that phone number with that name on all classes they sign up for. So as soon as he's texted in that, this is my name to one class, he never has to do that again.
Right.
So if he joins this class, that's the name. If he joins this class, that's the name. You need to tell kids to use their name, not something goofy that they think only one person knows. Okay, so it gives you this and it lets you put it in, or you can just text right there. It also has a link that you can email to a distribution list if you wanted to send it, for instance, to all senior parents, because you're a senior social studies teacher. You could click that email and then say you wanted to go to 2014_parents at nationaltel.us, and it would go to all of our senior parents, because that's the parent list that we have. Okay? So you could do that, say that if you wanted parents to sign up for, and they'll get this little, or you can take this picture and put it on your Moodle page as well, but it's pretty easy. So it's so simple, it's ridiculous. Basically, I don't know why it's doing this. It could be because I was copying a server over there. Maybe I'm slowing down traffic a little bit over there. Okay, so all I have to do to send something is I pick which class I've got, and I've got 3. I've got Hardware, Advanced Tech, and Tech Tuesday. All I do is click on that, type in my message, and hit send, and that's it. And it goes out like that. And I can see who signed up for it, the only person who signed up for it, because I did that, and Jeff Wasson signed up like 1 second later. I just made the class, and Jeff signed up like that. So Jeff's signed up in that class last
I'm
night.
not signed up, because I signed up too.
Well, these are screen captures from last night when I made this,
yeah.
because I had to screen capture and then make it and
Yeah.
upload it to NearPod last
Okay.
night.
There is another way, like when you're making websites, you can upload you can put the link in.
Right.
And then, so like if, say you wanted the students to be able to scroll up and down, maybe you had a history article and you wanted them to be able to read the entire article, you could put it in as a website, like URL, and they can.
Oh, you're talking about in
Yeah,
NearPod. I'm going to go to all the different ways that we can. I'm just we're doing Remind 101 now. You're jumping ahead on me.
Sorry.
That's it
Have you done the
for Remind
schedule?
101. What?
Have you done the scheduled thing?
I have not tried the schedule thing, but you can send it right now and you can schedule. That's what this
I
book
would
for.
suggest doing the scheduled thing because a lot of kids never check texts at certain times, or if you want to have a reminder, make sure it's a timely reminder. Because I've given texts in the mornings, and then they've forgotten it by the afternoon or by the next day, and so I try to give. So like if they're having a test on Thursday, I'm going to give them a text on Wednesday afternoon or something like that.
So yeah, so you can do that. You can have a whole, and you can schedule a
yeah.
bunch of things. You could schedule it every single night. You can schedule it for give them a text at 6, and when it's 7, are you still studying for your test? It's tomorrow. You can schedule it for 8. You can hound them if you want. Now they can unsubscribe, and if you hound them too much, I think they would.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you could do that. Okay, so it's a really nice, easy, free tool. It's free to set up. You don't have to make any of these lists because all I do is make a class, and I tell my class one time, hey, I want everybody to do this. Get out your phone
Yep.
and sign up for this. And of course, in my room, they're going to say, I don't have any service. But in Deb's room, they might have service. So, because she's at least got a window. Or you can just put it on your Moodle page, just right on the top of my Moodle page as well, so the kids know they can click on there to get the number to do it again. Okay, so let's go on to the next section, which is, now I was pushing it to a question. Why is it doing that? Okay, so now you should have a question on your screen. This was an example of a question that you could do. In NearPod, you can do actual quizzes, you can do open-ended questions, and you can do, like this, survey-type questions just to see. So right now, of the people in the room, 60% are probably going to try using NearPod, 40% haven't answered, no one said no. Okay, 100% are going to, so you can see it's a good formative feedback tool that you can easily set up. And it's really, really easy to set up. And you can also use it to do open-ended questions like this one. You know, how do you think you could use it in your class? And obviously you can see that the name's right there, so you kind of, some of these, you may or may not want to use. That one was easy to do and get a class feedback with no names. And the quizzes have no names, but this one does, so it's just something to know when you're doing that. Just curious how long it takes to show up when you guys hit enter. Is that relatively quick? From when you guys hit
Yeah,
enter
so
to
it's
show
a
up?
couple seconds. Right. 5, 6. That's just changing.
Okay. So the next thing, the other thing you can do is you can push out web pages with Remind 101. So like right now, I just made it, you guys should be going to the Remind 101 web page, if it works.
Don't say anything.
Do I have to hit something else to make that work? Like the web page or something?
Yeah, webpage 101.
It's like.
Did it come up on yours?
Yeah, it's working on ours.
Oh, okay. But it didn't come up on the browsers? No, it says click here to open the web page. So you can push kids to an actual website, and I looked into how much this costs, by the way. It's $120 per teacher per year, or you can do the free version like we're using right now, which doesn't do everything that the paid version does. So, in fact, Mr. Fisher already asked me, do I think many teachers will use it? And I said, I don't know. We'll see how many people come. What the interest is, we would have to have 5 teachers to sign up for a school license. And then you get unlimited number of students and stuff associated with that. So we'll have time to sign up later. Let's go on. So the next thing is NearPod, which is obviously what we're using right here. It's a presentation tool that lets you upload a PowerPoint or a PDF file, which means you can pretty much upload anything. If Jonathan's got a smart notebook file that he wants to do, all he has to do is export it as a PDF, and then you can upload that into NearPod, because anything can become a PDF The thing that you lose with NearPod is the interactivity of a PowerPoint. I can't make lines fly in like I could before on a PowerPoint, but honestly, I really don't do PowerPoint anymore. I use Notebook, and to interact with this and Notebook, you certainly could just minimize this, do Notebook stuff, and maximize it again, and use this to push visuals to kids. Because like Whitney says, you can push web pages, you can push videos, you can push audio files, you can have them draw, you can have them do formative assessment type questions, you can have them do quizzes. There's all kinds of things that you can push to your device, so you could make a less interactive where I'm using Notebook and then I come back to here, and while I'm doing Notebook, maybe I've already pushed a picture of the internals of a frog's anatomy in my biology class, and that's what they have on their thing because that's a graphic that you might want them to look at while you're doing this, or a cell while you're talking about cell structure. So you could have some related graphic that you pushed with NearPod, and then you just minimize it and do your Notebook lesson and then bring it back up. So you can do two things at one time, okay? So it's supposed to be able to push to any internet-capable browser, which to me means that you should be able to do it with your phone. I should have tried it just on my phone browser while we were doing this to see how that worked. What happens if you join late? Just kind of curious. I'm gonna see if I can.
I think you just start wherever the presentation is.
I do know when I did my presentation on that tech in service day, my original PowerPoint was too big, so I just made a short clip version for NearPod, so it was like notes from the study session, and did the two things. I did PowerPoint, and then I'd switch back and forth, which was kind of nice. And like I keep NearPod on my iPad, but on my PC through the projector was the real PowerPoint version, and that worked out really well.
Oh, so you did split screen when you were doing it. Okay. And it won't let me do it as a browser. It immediately took me to the Play Store for the app. So I guess on a device that can do an app, it's going to push you to the app anyway. Which I'm not saying I dislike that. At least I know that that's what it does. Okay, so NearPod's really easy to set up. For students, all they have to do is click join the way you did. As an educator, you could just hit create an account. To set up an account, I would suggest using your school Gmail account for it, not your personal one. You make an account, you can upload any existing presentations. After the presentation's up, then you can add any kind of interactivity you want. And just remember, and I would assume it would do it, but you can always compress pictures before you upload it too. But I would assume NearPod compresses it once it gets up. I don't know, but you can keep deleting and adding PowerPoint, so I don't think the limit is a big deal because I don't need to have them all up there, except for the fact that if I was going to use it a lot and I was going to use it again next year, if I add all kinds of cool interactivity, that's where I think there's a benefit of us paying for an account so that we don't have the smaller limit, okay? So one of the reasons why you might be able to keep students on task with their devices a little bit, you might be able to get better feedback, and the formative feedback part is really easy. So once you're logged in, you can go to your library. There is a store of presentations. So the way I understand it is when I publish, now it goes to the store, and there's a whole bunch of things already made there that you might be able to access other people's stuff that they've got made. And then join means you're going to join somebody else's session or create a session, and the reports are more limited in the free version than they are in the paid version, okay? Once I've got it in here, I have to publish it, and then I can start the presentation, which is what I did. And publishing it is what you do when you're all done and ready to go on with your students. To create the presentation, it comes straight to this, and I just drag the PowerPoint file to it. It adds really simple. It takes a little bit for it to calculate it and figure it out, but it took about, I don't know, 2 minutes for it to change this.
Smartboard you can pull?
You would have to export the smart file as a PDF, and then you could
okay.
take it right over there and do it like that.
Gotcha.
trying to enter my pin here. And this pin only works for the time the session's in progress. So it's not gonna do anything later when we're done recording. So if you're doing one, the pin changes every single time. It's not like this pin is associated with this presentation. Okay. So it gets converted, and then you can make your changes to it. And when you go to it, basically you'll just see all the slides of your PowerPoint presentation or your Smart Notebook or whatever you uploaded. And that's when you can add stuff. And when you click Add, it gives you different kinds of content you can add. So you can add content, which includes slides. You can do custom slides. You can add videos. You can add audio. Or you can add an extensive slideshow. On web content, it's basically what I did where I push a web page to the device. And then with activities, you can do an open-ended question, you can do a poll, you can do a quiz, or you can do a draw it where they can actually interact, I guess, with the drawing tool. I haven't tried that one yet. Have you tried that one yet? I don't know that I would have a need for a drawing tool, but I don't know, maybe there's...
Like chemistry and balance.
Oh,
It's not
maybe.
more like math, something that.
math equation type stuff, maybe?
Yeah, you might.
Maybe.
That you could get them to actually do the problem and then see the problem. I didn't think about that. When I was thinking drawing, I guess I was thinking too literally with that versus handwriting. And then when you're done, all you have to do is put the publish button, and you see, like just like we did, you'll get this big code that pops up, and you just put that when you're going to do it, and you tell your kids, go to NearPod and put in that code, and then you'll be part of the presentation, and you'll be able to do all your stuff. Okay, that's the short of it, because I wanted to give us time to set up accounts and play with it a little bit and to answer questions. So here's another poll that I just sent to you guys. Okay, do you think you use NearPod in class? And I actually want to know the answer to this. I know probably not. Definitely could, because you're right in front of PCs all the time, and if you're doing a presentation on how to do something, it would be really nice to be able to push that. But I don't know how. I honestly don't know how many people are doing PowerPoints anymore with the interactivity of the smart board and the Mimeo boards. Do many people do presentations anymore in class? I used to,
On occasion.
but now that I can do it interactively, I don't know I do. So that's why when Mr. Fisher asked me, I was like, I don't know. I kind of like the polling feature. That's what I like the best. But I could not even have a PowerPoint almost and say, have question 1 up there and just have this minimized and just pop it up and ask my questions. And just create it there for informal feedback in the thing, which I could easily do with the free stuff. Now I could literally have one that I just go in and edit the questions that I might ask for today's presentation and just keep using the same one all the time, which free would be fine for.
Yeah, I would most likely do kind of my notebook, then have this as separate, kind of do. both
Yeah,
at the
because I
same
really
time.
think I do so
I don't
much
think I would do
writing.
this all by itself.
Yeah. I don't know how many people do. I mean, I know Steve Behringer has a billion PowerPoints he's put together for a social studies class.
Let's see, even on the PowerPoint. Well, could you still write and things on your?
Could I write on the
If I do a
board?
PowerPoint and I want to write, will it save the writing onto the slide? I don't think so. But on PowerPoint it will.
Yeah,
It'll
this is
save
not
my
going to.
writing on
I mean, but I
the
could
slide.
definitely say, I can definitely interact
You can
with
still
that.
interact with it, yeah.
But then I got to do,
It's gonna get rid of it.
yeah.
But sometimes on my PowerPoints, we'll do notes and other things, and it'll save it as part of.
Yeah, and you don't have to answer this. I was just trying to show you open-ended questions and versus pre-done questions there. I actually like this one better, just because I like the fact that it puts everything together for me. When I do that back and forth, what does it do to yours?
It disappears whatever you were typing.
Does it?
Yeah.
So that would be me
Thanks.
to the students on an open-ended question. Oh!
I almost had it done! All over.
Okay,
All
so
things sound like
we can
that.
look at the 2 websites now. And I know you already have a NearPod and you've already got a NearPod, but Remind101, I think that's the easiest thing to set up and use in the world. So if you don't have a Remind101 account, I would highly encourage you to set one of those up because of how easy the thing is to set up. I mean, just Jonathan's used it, and I honestly don't have all my kids signed up. I've got it on the top of my Moodle site to try to remind them
Well, it's not
to
gonna
do
apply
it.
to every kid, but it applies.
To tell them to sign up for a text. Yeah, because but most, I think, do. I think there's very few kids out there that don't. You know, so all I have is this to text that to sign up.
And a lot of them already have their Gmail accounts synced to their phone, so if I send a Gmail, it's practically like texting, so some of them have
As
said.
long
it
as they have a
doesn't
smartphone.
matter. Right.
Yeah.
Some of
I
them
guess
said it doesn't matter.
questions. First of all, Whitney, do you have anything that I missed? I was trying not to go too in depth because I wanted to actually give time for people to set them up if they wanted to.
There is, first I'll ask me a question about making, NearPod has a homework function where you can, I've never worked with it, I've always just done presentations, or like when I'm introducing a novel or something like that. But there is a homework assignment that you can set up that you do it at home. And I have not interacted or used that at all.
How would you? I haven't looked.
It sends them with, I'm assuming that it sends out an email and says, hi, you have a homework assignment on NearPod, and then they would do that before or after class, and then it submits the answers to you as the teacher.
The only thing with doing that I mean, it's kind of neat, but I would rather do it on
That's not
Moodle
that
Quiz and
different
use
from
Remind101 to tell them, because you could send the link in a Remind101 if you wanted to, because then I got to find a way to get the grades from
Yeah.
NearPod over to Moodle. Because you can do a quiz and get a grade, but the question is, am I then going to go and hand enter that grade in Moodle?
The other thing I like about Moodle with the feedback is it holds all that data. So if you're doing like I can statements before, middle, during, in the unit, then it has a percentage of like what students didn't understand at the beginning, but now they understand, and you have all that data, which is kind of nice. Whereas NearPod doesn't keep the data from time.
Right. I wonder if the paid one it would. I mean, I think it's neat, and I'm going to try to use it for formative feedback during my regular lessons, because it was really simple to just type in a question and put in a couple answers. That's so easy that, and in fact, I'll probably put a slide that says question over whatever, so that I know that what question's coming up before I hit next, and so I don't actually give them early kind of thing.
What I like about it is if you're the kid in the back or you're the kid in the side and you can't read that over there, it's now right here.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I think about graphics and stuff in a class. There's lots of times I have graphics in class that I could easily just make a quick PowerPoint with just the pictures that I'm writing on or talking about. I mean, that would take literally 5 minutes. Just put the graphics in a NearPod and upload it. And now when I go to talk about the hard drive, I've got, not only do I have a picture up here that I'm drawing on, they've got one on theirs. Now, in the draw feature, by the way, it lets you upload a graphic, so you could have them draw on a graphic too. So when you say you want to add a draw, the first thing it asks you for is what graphic, which I suppose you could throw a blank piece of paper as your graphic and not have anything and have it more open. But you could also have, if your question, Jonathan, was, where in the cell is the nuclei, and you had a graphic, they actually would have to circle that would be a different kind of feedback that you can't get on a